Kalt and welcome to Pandora. Before I start the video today, I wanted to take this time to truly thank Avatar Sequels and Discovering Pandora for having me on the latest episode of their show, Exploring Avatar, last Friday. I was invited on their show to talk about the most recent trailer and all of the news from the past week. It was a wonderful stream and I'm very humbled to have been their first ever guest. Both have been a huge inspiration for me coming back to YouTube in the past month, and both create some amazing Avatar content for the community. It was wonderful to be able to finally talk to them and dive deep into the universe we love so much. I'll leave the link to the stream in the description below. Please go and give it a watch if you haven't done so already. We go into depth about some really interesting topics around the trailer, one of which I'll be talking about later this week, so keep an eye on the channel for that. If you haven't already checked out Avatar Sequels and Discovering Pandora, please do so. They make some wonderful videos and the links will be in the description below for each of their channels. When James Cameron was outlining the script for the original Avatar film, he created a number of characters and plot lines that would ultimately get cut from the final version. One of these was the character of Hegner, a researcher on the moon whose tragic story could still hold some relevance to the sequel The Way of Water all these years later. Fleshed out in the original script for the film, known as Project 880, a scene was planned in which the character of Hegner would be discussed over a meal between Jake and Grace during their time at Hell's Gate. In the scene we learn about Hegner and how his experience on the moon forever changed him. Hegner was a xenobiologist who was also part of the Avatar program and fell in love with a Na'vi called Laina. Some say they were married, but tragically she was killed. How, we don't know, as the script didn't go into too much information. Due to the loss of her while being in his avatar body, Hegner allowed himself to be killed by a Slimph, still being connected as the creature ripped him apart without breaking the neural link. He watched himself be killed and was never the same afterwards. In the same scene, Hegner is cleaning the tables of the rec room as Jake and Grace are talking about him. He is described as being vacant-eyed and most likely out of his head on medication. Grace tells Jake he's never been the same since the attack, as part of him died with his avatar body. He came to see the real life as his avatar life, and it seems he suffered from many psychological effects due to this event. The story told is meant to be a warning to Jake of the dangers of Pandora, and how easily it can be to lose yourself on the planet, both physically but more importantly mentally, which brings us to why this story may still be relevant to the universe going forward. We know that avatars are going to be used in new and interesting ways in the sequels. The Recom are prime examples of this in The Way of Water. We know they are the consciousness of soldiers implanted into an avatar's body, some of which may have been killed in battle. If this is true, being brought back from such a traumatic experience could have some lasting impacts on the mental state of these soldiers. Perhaps they could eventually start to exhibit the same effects as Hegner. From what we have seen in the trailer, they appear to be operating as normal, but I'm interested to see if any of these side effects from the procedure start to appear as the film goes on. Maybe by the end of the film these could start to appear in full and may give Jake and his family the opportunity they need to get the upper hand. This is all speculation at the end of the day, but I do believe that Hegner's story will have some reflection on the dangers of misusing the Avatar program that we will see come to pass in the sequels. I could see it being used as a cautionary tale to the dangers of humanity's technological advancements in controlling life, and why attempting any control of nature will ultimately lead to disaster. While I doubt we will ever see this cutscene in any form in the future, it's fun to think on how this could still be used going forward within the universe today. I can only hope that other elements of the original script may one day make it into the franchise. And once again, a huge thank you to both Avatar Sequels and Discovering Pandora for having me on the show on Friday. I'm very honoured to have been their first guest. It was a wonderful evening and I really can't thank any of you who were there in the chat for all the discussions that took place. They are wonderful friends and have supported the channel for a long time. Please go and show them all the love and support this community is known for. Be sure to check out the channel soon for a collaboration between myself and these amazing members of the community. But what do you think of Hegner's story? Do you think it will play any relevance in the sequels? Could we even see this scene in one form or another? I'd love to hear all your thoughts down in the comments below. But until then, hej alvaj, gievami.